Morning, everyone. Patriots, Christians, people who love their actual country, not the ones who are trying to change it like the left. Well, last night, unfortunately, disaster struck again in the airline industry. A second crash, this time in Philadelphia. A medical transport plane taken off from a Philadelphia airport, a smaller private airport, I think it wasn't Philadelphia International. Killed a pilot, a co-pilot, a doctor, a paramedic, a mother, and her daughter, going to Springfield, Missouri, I think for vital surgery or medical treatment. Now, this is the second plane accident within many days, and this one didn't collide with anything. In fact, this one went down 30 seconds after takeoff. So, was it engine failure? Because if you look at the video, this thing just came straight down. I mean, it looked like a missile into a northeast part of Philadelphia. Now, you gotta wonder, is this another deep state attack? I mean, what are the odds? 2 within 3 days. I'm sorry, but everything's on the table right now. I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anything. And it just so happens that this happens 11 days in the Trump's office, when he did several executive orders and executive actions about turning the airline industry around, about the shortage and the towers. But my guess right now is that this had been a mechanical, you gotta assume a mechanical error. I mean, take off from 30 seconds after takeoff, come right down. What else could it be? You would think. But I'm not giving anyone the benefit of the doubt anymore. As we know about the failures among the Department of Transportation under Mayor Buttplug, aka Pete Buttigieg, there were a ton of problems that were left unturned in his office. They were more focused on DEI, lowering the standards for the sake of giving everyone a chance, including the mentally ill and the people who aren't capable of doing these jobs. Now, we still have to let the investigations happen. I mean, the NTSB is going to come in and do an investigation the way they're working with the DOD to do the investigation on the other job in Reagan International, as we now find out that the night before the first incident happened, it almost happened the first time the night before. I think it was flight 1445 had to make a second go around because another military helicopter got in the way. Now, the way it's supposed to work, from what I've seen, is there's supposed to be one person doing helicopters, one person doing flights. But because they're short-handed at Reagan International, you got one person doing both. Another thing I found out last night was, one of the people who was killed in that American Airlines plane, I think it was a Howard University professor, name was Dia Huggins, who was also a Black Lives Matter lawyer. Now, with all the stuff gradually coming out on Black Lives Matter and how corrupt they were, and how it was a money scheme for the very rich black folks to get rich off at the expense of their own people, you can ask yourself, was she beginning to turn? Were they pressuring her? Was she going to testify against Black Lives Matter and Michelle Obama? And by the way, Michelle Obama didn't go to the Jimmy Carter funeral, not that we missed her, and she wasn't at the President Trump inauguration, not that we miss her. But for the president's wife, who's, let's face it, young in age, how did she miss two big events like that over a scheduling conflict? Now, the death of a former president, I would think you could rearrange your schedule for something like that. The inauguration of a new president, which only happens once every 4 years, with a tradition for all the current ex-presidents to come, I would think you could manage your schedule around that. I mean, let's face it, she's known since November of 2024 that that day was coming, and yet she couldn't rearrange her schedule. I guess some prostate exams are pretty important. So, what did Dinah Huggins know? Or she could testify about? And of course, this comes back to a friend of mine just reminding me about DARPA. How they have technology to really do some really messed up stuff to people. Including taking control of coppers and planes. And this is why they really want you to have that electric vehicle, because they can do the same thing to you in an electric vehicle. I mean, let's face it, an electric vehicle is an over-glorified golf cart with a big Apple iPad on it. Or Android iPad, depending what your service you use. And being how those batteries are so highly explosive, I mean, it would be very easy to get rid of someone you really despise. And as it is right now, people are getting on fire and blowing up because, let's face it, they're crap cars anyway. As I said, if you love a quiet ride and a lot of torque, you might like the electric vehicle. But for the price you pay, if you do the math for the gas you save, it's going to take you at least, depending how much you drive, probably about 12 years to match up the savings in gas. If it lasts that long, if you don't total it, if it doesn't blow up. And on top of that, you need to get one of them ugly ass chargers in your garage or in your house or in front of your HOA home. No thank you. But you can't help to think. 11 days into the Trump administration, we got these two incidences. And what did Trump do in that first instance, in that press conference? He tore down the Biden administration and made a butt plug for his lack or his terrible policy of dealing with the problems at hand with the alien industry, the tower controls, and just the Department of Transportation in itself. And don't forget, we had an entire bridge collapse in Maryland, and I haven't forgotten about that incident either. For a minute, where the Francis Scott Key just happened to come down within seconds. Now, I gave a video on this months ago over the summer about the shortage of people in the towers and how underqualified they were and how many mishaps we've had in the past 2 years, and there have been plenty. But because no harm, no foul, nothing gets reported to the media until something like this happens. Now, it could be just coincidence. Who knows? As I said, they don't get the benefit of anything right now. Sorry, you don't. Comments down below. What's your opinion like to know? Keep the country and this administration in prayer. By the way, did you see the RFK hearings yesterday? Day 2 of it. I gotta love when you have a person who is as knowledgeable and who is as passionate as RFK is with pharmaceutical drugs and food, it's going to be really hard to throw a guy like that off. Now, granted, he's not a nutritionist. He's not even a doctor. But he knows how to read. He knows his numbers. And the numbers are there. We have problems with our vaccines and our food. As he said, obesity, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, autism, all up. Why? There are obvious things we put in our foods in this country that the Canadians and the Europeans, or I know the Europeans, I'm not sure about the Canadians, don't put in their food. Why is that? Because they've been trying to destroy our country for years. My favorite part yesterday was, well, you know what? Where all the money Big Pharma throws into the lobby industry, and all you people here have taken money from the lobbyists, and that's when that one guy goes, no, yeah. You're guilty. And the more you defend and attack him, the more you expose yourself, and I'm enjoying it. All right, folks. Let me know what you think. We'll talk to you later.